Hey everybody, this is Tim Lee with the Retired Teachers Association. I am so glad to see you today and to be a part of your afternoon. Thank you for joining us, and I'm going to wait a couple minutes and let some others join. I hope that you're having a great day. I know some of you are joining us on Facebook Live, others may be joining us through YouTube, and I'm so grateful that you're spending some time with us today. A great, exciting program planned for today. We're also getting ready for some other content coming up in about a week. We have a lot more going on in the coming days. So look forward to more of our Facebook Lives kind of ramping up. I know we did one last Saturday and we had a lot of views on it, a lot of good comments. But as we get started here, let me first begin by saying how grateful that we are for all of our TRTA members and our leaders, everyone who has worked to keep this organization going in the last year. Today is the day that a lot of folks recognize as a year ago today, our economy started to close down, our businesses started to close down, a number of emergency orders were being drafted or implemented around the country, and life as we really knew it came to a drastic halt. Even at TRTA, a lot of our programs started to slow down. We canceled our annual convention in 2020. We have been on a blocking of our local units having gatherings. We've canceled all of our district activities. We've even moved all of our board meetings to Zoom sessions. So it's been a wild ride. It's been a difficult period of time. Lots of unknowns have come up during this period. But there's one thing that is known. There was something that we knew when this all started, and that was that our members, the leaders in our organization, our members would rise to the occasion. And you all have done an amazing job. And so I just want to thank every single TRTA member, every one of our local unit leaders, every one of our district leaders, officers, our board members, our staff, from myself to all of you. Thank you very much for rolling with the punches, for being creative, for thinking outside the box, for being willing to get on Zoom, for being willing to send letters, for talking to your folks, for renewing your dues, for being as I said, an ongoing dues paying member, for supporting us, for sending us the letters, the emails, the text messages. What an amazing group of people that we have a chance to work with. And I'm grateful every day that I have a job that I get to work for retired teachers, and it means a great deal to me. And I can speak on behalf of our board of directors and all of the folks that are a part of this organization that we do it because we believe in our cause and we want to help. And every day that we have this gift of working for TRTA, we're going to use it to try to help retired school employees of Texas. And so that's what we're here to talk about today. This is something that's new and different, and it warrants its own conversation. And I'm going to kind of explain a little bit of my setup in this room. So where I'm sitting is it's a studio, and hopefully all of the sound is working. All the video looks like it's working. But off to the right, which may look like your left, I may from time to time just look over there because I can see your comments, and I want to be able to look at those comments and read some of those as we go through today's conversation. Erlene, thank you so much for your kind words. Cheryl, what a treasure. Thank you for being here. Jan, thank you so much for your comments. And I know that there are hundreds and thousands of folks that are watching this live. If you're going to join us after the live presentation, Jay, it's good to see you. Really look forward to hearing from y'all. If you have any questions or comments, you can contact us through our social media or directly to our office, and really anxious to be a part of this today. So let's get started. We're doing something different. I was talking to the Magic Valley Retired Teachers Association just about an hour ago, and we were talking about how normally this time of year we would be planning for our TRTA Day at the Capitol, which is a great event. I love our day at the Capitol. There's so many exciting things that happen. And then all of a sudden, we have a session where we're not going to be able to get, a day at the Capitol. And so what are we going to do? How will we make our voices heard? And for those of you who are wondering, why, what's so important about making our voices heard? I felt like session's going pretty well and things are going okay. Let me tell you that we have had some big news, some great news in the last 24 hours. Yesterday, there was a committee hearing in the House, and it was a pensions committee, Pensions, Investment, Financial Services. And the new chair, Rafael Anchia, who is a good friend of retired teachers and a strong supporter. And I'm not sure if he's going to get a chance to watch this, but Chairman Anchia, thank you so much for your work. He asked the question to the executive director of TRS, Brian Guthrie, can we pass a raise, or is it possible to pass a raise, a cost of living adjustment for retired teachers this session and still be actuarially sound, still be fiscally responsible with our teacher retirement system? And the answer was yes. Yes, the teacher retirement system is able to absorb a cost of living raise, and the legislature, if that's something that shows up on the agenda, and we have a chance to talk about it and push a bill, we could do that this session. There's been a lot of work put into getting our retirement system to a fiscal soundness. I've been here since 2004. I've never known a more dedicated group of retired school employees who have worked to make sure that TRS is actuarially sound. And in Texas, there's kind of a strange rule that we really measure what that's all about. As all of our members know, we do not have a guaranteed annual increase in retirement benefits for TRS retirees. And so there are two things that really are important for trying to get a cost of living adjustment for our retirees through the legislature. Number one, the retirement system has to be able to take the cost or the liability of that retirement increase and add it into the value of the trust fund. And we still have to be able to pay down our unfunded liability within 31 years. And so last session, we worked real hard with our elected officials. We had great leaders. You had Joan Huffman, senator out of the Houston area. We had Greg Bonin, who is another state representative out of the Houston area. Too many to count. Honestly, if I started naming names, I'd probably name everybody in the legislature. But we had tremendous leadership that worked hard to pass a bill that would ensure the fiscal soundness of our teacher retirement system. And we do that because it's the right thing to do. We do that because all school employees deserve to have a secure retirement benefit, because that's what they're paying into. Somebody did it for you before you were retired, and we're doing it for the next generation of TRS retirees. But hand in hand with that comes the ability to help our current retirees. And more than half of all TRS retirees today have never had an increase, a permanent increase in their base retirement benefits. And that's an amazing number to think about. More than 450,000 TRS retirees, and over half of those folks have never seen an increase. Some people have gone 17 years in retirement and never have seen an increase in their base annuity. And we all know that costs of living are going up faster and faster and more every day. The cost of milk is not the same as it was in 2004. The cost of gas is not the same. All of these costs keep going up, and we have a duty and a responsibility. And now we get to do something. So we have the opportunity really to help our retired teachers. And this moment is here again because of your sacrifice and your work, because our friends in the legislature have been friends. They understand this plight that we're in. And we need to, in this moment, communicate to our elected officials that we can help our retirees, that this is a moment where we can do something now. Could we wait into the future and try to do it again some other time? Sure, we could wait, but the objective from so many elected officials when we were in the last session was, let's get the system fiscally sound. Let's make sure that happens. And then once it's stable and we can do it, let's give these retirees a raise. I'll be very honest with you. Very few of us thought we would be in a financial position with a global pandemic, an economic slowdown, that we would come back into this session thinking now would be the time. But the moment is here. And when there's a moment like now, you have to seize the moment. And so this is really the exclamation point to our effort that we're trying to get done in this legislative session. As I said, we're not going to be able to show up at the Capitol in force. And we knew that at the beginning of the session, and the leaders at TRTA decided that we needed to find a way to get your voice heard and for you to be visually present in the building, even though we couldn't physically be there. And so here we go. And, before I start showing this document off, let me say a couple of highs. Gloria, hello, how are you? 17 years without a raise. Completely agree with the sentiment that you're saying. Linda, good to see you. Sherry, again, good to see you. Kathy, thanks for being here. Be Care, great group of folks. It's a little hard to see everybody, but keep the comments coming. I see Delta County here. Deborah, great to see you. Connie's good to see you. A lot of our friends showing up here today, leaders in this organization, really, really excited that you're here. And I'm proud to show you for the first time what our instrument of communication is going to be for this legislative session. Now, remember, as I show this to everybody, we're still going to be doing our inside lines, click here to send an email. This one's a little bit different. All right. So we are launching, it's already in the mail. So you're going to start receiving this. This is going to be something you're going to receive in the mail. And when you receive this, it's going to look a little different than your normal news bulletin. But this document is the news bulletin. It's got a special cover on it, and you can sort of see because of the reflection off of my lights over here that this is in some sort of plastic bag, and we call this a poly bag. And the reason that it's in there is because we have some extra items that are a part of this document for you. Every TRTA member is going to get this document. If you're the president of a local, if you're the member of a local, you're the membership chair, you're the treasurer, you're the legislative chair for your local, if you're a district officer, remember TRTA is sending out over 100,000 of these to people who are current TRTA members, as well as people who may have been members within the last year. They're still getting a bulletin. We're asking them to be a part of this. So we've got a great group of people that are going to get this. And I want to say this right at the beginning. Let's get our phone trees active. Let's get our emails active. Let's send text messages. Let's find those people who have said, you know what, I'm not really into Zoom. I still support TRTA. I still support the local. I'm just not really into Zoom. Let's give them a call. We need their help. So everybody's going to get this. Probably next week, there's going to be thousands of these showing up in people's mailboxes. And so when you open this up, the first thing I'm going to tell you is this poly bag, again, is protecting the bulletin and the contents inside. This little flap on the front, and you'll see it, you'll feel it once you get yours. It's pretty strong. And so what I have done with this particular document is I kind of pushed it down this way so that I would have a nice corner over here. And then I just cut along that corner, and I'm able to pull this poly bag off real easy. So that has helped me make sure that the contents remain really in good shape. And so what I want to do is, Cy-Fair, great to see you. Glad you're here. Lilla, great to see you. Carol, how are you? It's good to see you. A lot of Be Care folks here today. And Carol Smith is one of my very dear friends. I'm so glad she's here. She and I have been talking the last couple of days. And she asked some questions about RSVPing. I'm going to tell you about that in a few minutes. But back to the show. So in this document, this special cover is really designed to just grab people's attention. And then when you open the document, you're going to see more of a traditional TRTA news bulletin look. And so I do have some helpers on the other side of this production. I'm going to ask Roy to go ahead and show us a full screen version of what we're looking at here. This is our front cover of The Voice magazine. As you can see in the title, he may need to scroll down just a little bit. It's talking about sending a sea of red to the Texas Capitol. And then there's the title of our initiative called the TRTA Red Letter Campaign. And you're going to get a real close visual in just a second about why we call this the Red Letter Campaign. So what is this all about? Well, the Red Letter Campaign is an actual physical letter that we are asking all of our members to go ahead and fill out and sign and send back in. Now let's show everybody, Roy, let's show them page 2 of this document. So as we go down into page 2 of the actual newsletter, you're going to see a number of instructions. And it talks about, why are we doing this? What is Zoom to the Capitol? What is this event all about? And so it really is a series of activities with this Red Letter Campaign being the, as I said earlier, kind of the exclamation point to the whole thing. But we're going to get into the calendar in just a few minutes, but I actually want to talk about the letter itself. So as you can see, as you get into number 2 and you have the kind of gray box that y'all are looking at, Roy, if you can scroll down just a little bit more, it talks about what items you can put in your letter. And so you'll be able to take a look at these suggestions. We want your letter to be your letter. You know, we're not going to try to make it so that you can't say what you want to say or communicate what you want to communicate. This is y'all's letter. But these are just some suggestions. Roy, why don't you come back on camera and I'll show some folks the inside of this newsletter. All right, so we're going to give you a couple different screen images as we go along here. But let me go ahead and if you'll allow me, I'm going to open up the newsletter. This is the actual document that you're going to get, and right in the fold of the document, so this is going to be pages 6 and 7, we're going to see the actual main component. And it may look just like a blank page on the screen that we're talking about, but you can kind of see as I hold it a little closer to the camera, this particular letter says, "Dear Senator." Now, the really interesting magical moment is that when I turn this page over, right on the back of that page, we have some items that are, I think, pretty cool. And I want to thank Laura, who's on our design team, as well as Cindy Sharp, and really the TRTA staff, our legislative committee, a lot of folks who came up with some ideas on how to get this done. But you'll see on the back of that page that I just turned over is an envelope. And I will tell you right now, I never in my life thought I would be on camera right now talking about something called booger glue. But these are booger glued onto this piece of paper. And so they're attached to this document so that you will be able to pull this envelope off and tear this letter out that you wrote, and you'll be able to send to your senator a red letter. And I've already gone ahead and ripped one of these out. I had a couple of these in advance. For some reason or other, I was able to get my hands on one. But this is the Dear Senator letter. And I have used the TRTA perforated sheet. And my green screen's going crazy. This is a perforated page in the letter. And so when you pull that out of the bulletin, it's really easy to do. Just take some time, but it is perforated. So once you've written your letter, you can pull that out and you can detach the envelope, this one specifically for your senator. And so it's already addressed. You just need to say, you know, let's since I already mentioned her, she's a champion of TRTA's, Joan Huffman. So let's say your senator is Joan Huffman. It would be Senator Joan Huffman. And you can put your name and your address just like you normally would at the top. The only thing we couldn't include is the stamp, which I'm going to talk about that in just a second. but these will require a postage, stamp. And then, on the back of it, it says support Texas education retirees. Now, let's say you're not really sure who your senator is, because while we have these pretty well made up for you to just pull that sheet out and put it in an envelope, you think, well, I'm not really sure who my senator is. And as we all know, the election cycle changes state reps and folks a lot. So even if it was somebody that you knew before, it could be somebody different. Now, my state representative, I live in Dripping Springs in Hays County. So my state representative is State Representative Aaron Zwiener. And I know Aaron, I can spell Zwiener, but that one's not the easiest name in the world to spell. And so on the back, so this is our main document that we pulled out. On the back of this document, there's a section where it will be based on your address. It's going to have the name of your state senator and your state representative on the document. So even if you're that legislative director, coordinator for your local, or the president, and somebody says, well, I'm not really sure who I can find. I'm not really sure who my state representative is. It's going to be on everybody's individualized bulletin. So everyone can participate and everyone will know who their state rep and their state senator is, because it's based on address. And we have put that information into this newsletter. So with this document, you'll be able to pull out both of these envelopes and then put them in the mail and send them on their way. And then you'll be able to get ready for what I think is kind of the next phase of our day at the Capitol. So as I transition to that, I just want to say hi to some more folks that have showed up. Leonard, glad you're here. Jay, I see your comment. Definitely concerned about the insurance costs myself. Would be happy to come online. We're probably going to talk about insurance a lot next week. We have a special guest coming on our program next week to talk about that. Sherry, it's good to see you. Minnie, great to see you here. Really, really anxious. I'm seeing some good feedback. Sue, I see you're an out-of-state TRTA member. And I would say the question about out-of-state is, well, who do I write? Because, I live out of state now. Well, my suggestion to folks, and y'all can offer other suggestions in the comments too, is send your letter to the state representative for the school district where you taught. Maybe if you were, let's say you were in the Hurst Bedford school district for a long period of time. Maybe you'd want to send your letter to them and say, hey, you know what? I spent 20 years of my career in HEB, ISD. And so I want to let you know that this is very important to me and that I still have friends in that area and I'm very involved and they're very involved. And so that's one way to get the attention of someone, if you live out of state with an elected official in Texas, is let them know where you provided your service, and then also let them know that you're in touch with people back in the district and back at home. Now, if you don't know who that is, we have another resource available to you. It's our website, which I'm going to have Roy show in just a minute. Not right now, Roy, but in a few minutes. On our website, we have a list of elected officials, and you can find those folks there, or you can just call our office. We'll be happy to help you find what legislators represent what school districts today. So we know we have a large out-of-state community with TRTA, and I hope that helps. And again, your ideas will be valuable too. So put them in the comments box, and others can see them. And say some more hellos. Nancy, it's good to see you. Mark, thank you very much for your kind words. I appreciate that. And I see that our TRTA team is putting some notes in the chat box also about out of state. So thank you so much to that. All right, so I'm going to finish up with kind of the visual representation of this discussion. The one part I didn't mention is what's this? What's this thing right here? Well, this is a TRTA sticker. And I am going to go ahead and put mine on because what our hope is that everyone who's watching this will take an opportunity to start connecting with their local unit, and that when they find their local unit, they will find out when they have organized a Zoom call with the state representative or their state senator. And so everybody is going to get one of these 3-inch or 4-inch stickers. It's in our packet, and you can wear it during your Zoom call. I wouldn't be surprised at all if some of our elected officials are wearing these stickers, because as you know, a lot of our legislators are TRTA members, and they're getting the same news bulletin that you are. A lot of our legislators have a spouse who is a member of TRTA, and so they may, have a sticker from their spouse. So, wear your sticker. Get on a Zoom call, and you think, well, I've never done Zoom before in my life. Well, we're here on Facebook Live, so I'm guessing this crowd is pretty used to the technology. And the nice thing is that there are leaders across the state organizing phone calls or Zoom calls so that you can have a personal engagement experience with your elected officials. So we're trying to think of everything that we can to make this a worthwhile experience. I am prepared, mentally preparing myself right now that people are going to love doing this so much that we may do this, in some form or fashion, even when we're back to doing traditional days at the Capitol, sending thousands of letters to the legislature that are very identifiable, I think is an idea that could stick. So let me end with a couple of ideas, and then I'm going to look at the chat box again and see what other people are talking about. The first thing I would say is we have a lot of folks that are going to receive this. As I said, over 100,000 people will receive this newsletter. That means that there are more than 200,000 of these envelopes floating around to our TRTA members. Even if we were to get a response of 10,000, if only 5,000 of our members were to send these envelopes, I think it would register in the legislature as a wow moment. But can you imagine? Can you even just take a second to think about the massive impact that tens of thousands or even 100,000, if half of our TRTA members send an envelope to their senator and to their House member, just half of our members, we will have more than 100,000 red envelopes pouring into the Texas Capitol. I promise you, there is not a single group in the country that's got an organizational activity level, in my opinion, that's as high as TRTA. And I believe wholeheartedly that we could see that 100,000 return envelope coming into the Texas Capitol and people sending these in so that every elected official knows that when they go home, they're going to have to visit with the people who sent tens of thousands of these envelopes saying, please help us. Help us. We need the help now. The moment is now. Don't let the moment pass you by that we could have helped our retired teachers with a much needed cost of living increase. Let's end the 17-year drought of our school employees who've been retired since 9/1/2004 and after. Those folks have never had an increase in their retirement benefits. Over 130,000 TRS retirees earn $1,000 a month or less in their annuity. We're so proud of our teacher retirement system being able to earn the billions of dollars on their investments that they're supposed to earn. We're so grateful for the leadership at TRS. We support what they do. At the same time, we've listened and read a number of articles in newspapers and seen them on the news about buildings that are being built or things that are going on. And again, I think that all of that stuff sometimes can be taken out of proportion from the perspective of, what's really happening. We don't always know the full story. But I want to flip the script. I want the story to be about retired teachers who have been in financial need, receiving an annuity increase, a terrible storm, winter storm, hurt a lot, thousands of Texans. The pandemic, most of our members fall into both categories of concern when it comes to this pandemic. They're either over the age of 60 or they may have a medical condition. And so tens of thousands of our TRS retirees have been affected by this pandemic directly because of the COVID virus, or even more thousands were affected just because the pandemic caused all these problems. I don't know that I need to convince this audience that when you have a moment, when you have a shot, if any of you are basketball coaches, any of you were football coaches, I'm thinking about one of our TRTA legislative coordinators in the past, Tana Duke, loves sports. Nancy Byler, big sports fan, good, strong. She's our state legislative committee chair, loves sports. My son's a basketball player. Sometimes when you have a shot, you got to take it. And this is the moment where the legislature has a shot. The pension trust fund can do it. Let's do it. So let's get all of our members as excited as we can about this red letter campaign to send these envelopes in. And I'm going to end by just a little more tidbits. I got preachy. I'm sorry, everybody. You know it happens from time to time. On these pages, and it's a little hard to see, but on these pages, there's that glue that I talked about earlier. If you are a little more careful with your envelopes and your notes, you might want to pull that glue off, which I just pulled that off. And if you take that glue off the page, it has a lot better chance of being folded without sticking together once you fold it, and then potentially ripping when the elected official goes to open it. So there's only 2 or 3 of them on there. If you look at them, you can take them off or not. It's really up to you. But I found when I folded mine, it folded a lot easier and came apart, a little easier when the glue wasn't on the back of the envelope. So, or on the back of the letter. Roy, let's go ahead and show everybody the slide with the schedule of events. Let me see if in my document what page that is. And I'm going to say hi to a couple other folks. Nicole, good to see you. Danny, it's good to see you. Danny is asking a question about postage. We were not able to put the stamps in this document. So postage is being handled one of a couple of ways. First, if you are inclined to just put a stamp on either one of these envelopes, a first-class stamp, and send them to the legislature, that would be great. You're going to get these next week, and we're going to ask that you get them in the mail as fast as you can. Now, some of our districts and locals are organizing letter drop-offs, but we have asked, and we've kind of talked about this internally, that if locals are collecting these envelopes to put stamps on them for the members, we would really ask that all local activities have envelopes in the mail no later than March 24th to ensure that they get to the Capitol and that they are able to get processed through the Capitol mail. It may be a lot easier for you to just put a stamp on it and send it, but I certainly am not going to discourage locals from going out, collecting these, and doing that amazing work of putting stamps and sending them for their members. So just try to be mindful of the time. And again, we've said March 24th might be the right date for locals to have wrapped up envelope collection for mailing them in for local units. All right, so on the screen, what you see is this is a page. I flipped through this very quickly. And you should never look for something without knowing what it is when you're live on camera. That's how you know you're live. So this is page 5 of the news bulletin. And you'll see it's zoomed to the Capitol schedule of events. And so there's been some questions about, well, what is this RSVP thing? I'm going to address that first. So if you've been to one of our TRTA conventions or a day at the Capitol, you know that during a session year, we usually have a panel of legislators that will come and talk to us. And we sometimes call that our legislative luncheon. And at the legislative luncheon, we are typically limited to, 900 seats or something, and we sell out every time we do it. And this RSVP is a little bit similar to that. We're going to have a special guest or some special guests that are going to be doing a statewide Zoom with TRTA, and I'll be hosting that. And we have to get a Zoom license that is large enough to cover all of the folks who want to chime in and watch that special event. There's no cost, there's no fee. nothing that would hurt any financial responsibility. But TRTA just has to have enough bandwidth and viewer capacity. So if you're thinking about tuning in to our special program, and this is going to be on Tuesday, April 6th. That's Tuesday, April 6th at 5 p.m. We will have that special legislative guest. And so when you're RSVPing for us, that's what you're going to RSVP for, is that large statewide event that we're going to do. And we've got some pretty exciting speakers that we're in discussions with, and we'll announce those soon, but we're still working all that out. Now, as you will see in this calendar of events, there are lots and lots of opportunities for locals to have their Zoom meetings with their elected officials. And those meetings are being coordinated out of that local. And so I have so many friends with different locals that I have a chance to be a part of. I saw several of them here. But we've got, let's just say Austin, for example. So Austin RTA is setting up meetings, Zoom meetings with their elected officials. And so they're going to create a list of what those meeting times and dates are going to be between the April 5th through the 8th. And you will be able to, if you're a part of that Austin local, and even if you're not part of the Austin local, but you want to join the Austin local, great time to check it out, really. Get online with them on that Zoom call through that local, and you'll be able to talk to your individual state reps and senators. So that's the beauty of this activity, is that we're still meeting with elected officials. It may be over Zoom, but our locals and our districts are still organizing personal meetings with local elected officials. On Tuesday, April 6th at 5 p.m., TRTA is going to host an elected leader or several elected leaders to come and talk to everybody. And we expect there to be a lot of folks for that one. So we need a larger license with Zoom to do that one. So that's that RSVP. I hope that makes sense. And it will more so as you get your newsletter and you can start going through this and seeing how it's organized. The other thing I would mention is I think it's going to be on Wednesday, but I hate saying that now that I'm trying to figure out when that is. More virtual House and Senate. All right. Yeah, it's Wednesday, April 7th. On Wednesday, April 7th, we will have the virtual House and Senate gallery visit, which means that we're just going to ask our members to turn on the live stream of the Texas House and the Texas Senate. And again, if you all remember from our day at the Capitals, you would remember that those are the times where everybody shows up in the gallery. It's standing room only because we take all the seats, and then they read our resolution and they make that TRTA day and retired school employee day. And so we're going to do the same thing, but that is going to be virtual again. It's going to be on Wednesday, April 7th. And this whole schedule of events will be made available for everybody in your newsletter when you get it. All right, I think that I have covered just about everything that I needed to talk about. I see Mary Jane Hamilton. She's one of my dearest friends in the world. Mary Jane, it's good to see you here today. Judy, good to see you. Carol, it's great to see you. Fran Clemens is here. Hi, Fran. I hope you're doing well. Really, really encouraged. Irene, good to see you. Thanks so much for being here. Really grateful for everybody's time. I hope this presentation was helpful introducing this. And I'm sorry I went long, but I think it was well worth it. If you have questions, let us know. Certainly, I see Irene making a comment. Would you like to wear red? By all means, if you want to wear red on your Zoom, great. Remember, you'll have your red sticker as well. So you can use that. Put it on your jacket. Put it on your blouse. You could put it on a piece of paper and just hold it up to the camera and let that elected official know that you are supporting retired teachers. But let me end by saying I really think this is going to be a big event for us. It really could, and does have the potential to change the entire narrative of the legislative session. And one of the things that I tell our legislative committee, I talk to our board about this. I talk to our staff about this, that even when things are going, not so great in the legislative process, and things are going pretty well for us right now, the one thing that I always comment on, and somebody recently reminded me of this is our attitude: never, ever underestimate the power of the membership. And right now, we want to engage your power. And through these envelopes, and through these stories, and through these letters, we will engage your power. And I really, truly believe that it will make a major difference. And it could be the difference between getting a cost of living adjustment passed now or having to wait in the years to come. But I think we can do it. I believe it. I believe in you. And I thank you for all you do. Y'all have a great day. Thanks for watching. Look forward to seeing you in the coming days as we do more of these. Have a good one.